give it up for our brand new speaker, Matt Gulbraa, who is giving us a talk about St Olga of Kyiv, but what about second revenge?
Hello. Hi. In 10th century Eastern Europe, Olga of Kyiv was many things. She was the first leader of her people to be baptized, a cunning regent who outwitted the Roman emperor, a canonized saint given the epithet equal to the apostles. But I'm going to tell the story of vengeance that started it all. Like many women throughout history, Olga didn't enjoy much freedom until her husband went and did something stupid, getting himself killed. Igor, Prince of Kyiv, was marching around with his army, extracting tribute from the local tribes, as one does. One of these tribes was known as the travails. He and his army arrived at their city, fought a battle, and extorted tribute. Soon they were on their merry way. But on the way home, Igor and his men decided they wanted more tribute. So Igor and a small band of troops returned and demanded more. Seeing a much less threatening force, the travails refused, killing Igor and his men. 2 trees were tied to the ground. Igor was tied to said trees, and the ropes holding the trees down were released, creating 2 Igors. Being dead, naturally the next person in charge was his infant son. So, reasonably, Olga was made regent. Igor being dead, the travails sent 20 men to Kyiv to suggest that the newly single Olga marry their prince. And she loved this idea. Your proposal is pleasing to me. Indeed, my husband cannot rise again from the dead, but I desire to honor you tomorrow in the presence of my people. Return now to your boat and remain there with an aspect of arrogance. I shall send for you on the morrow, and you shall say, we will not ride on horses nor go on foot. Carry us in our boat, and you shall be carried in your boat. The next day, the people of the city, lamenting their fate, carried the boat and its occupants inside the city, promptly dropping it into a pit Olga had ordered dug overnight. Kneeling from above, she asked if they found this honor to their liking before having them buried alive. If your wife doesn't kill a flotilla of men to avenge you, did she really love you? But vengeance is like potato chips, and you can't stop at just one. So, now that these guys are dead, she sends word to the travails that she's happy to accept their proposal. They should send their best men as an escort to meet with their prince with all due honor, adding that her people were hesitant to let her leave with anyone less. In due course, and being none the wiser, these nobles arrived. As deodorant had yet to be invented, she instructed them to please enjoy the city's fine bathhouse before meeting with her. While they were inside bathing, she barred the doors and had the bathhouse burnt down. Now that these guys were dead too, she sent word that she's on her way and would like to mourn at the sight of Igor's death, then hold a funeral feast in his honor, asking the travails to please provide a large quantity of mead. Upon her arrival, with a small escort, the travails attending asked where the retinue they had sent to meet her was. She said they're accompanying her husband's personal bodyguard, and they'll be along shortly. She mourned at his grave, then commanded that the feast should begin, having her people wait on the travails as they ate and drank. She was sure her people were very generous with the mead. Once the Drevlians were good and toasty, she took a page out of their book and had her people kill them. Now, at this point, she probably figured the jig was up and returned to Kyiv to gather the army, making their way to the Drevlian capital and laying siege to it. After a year, they were unable to take the city, so she inquired, "Why won't you surrender?" And the inhabitants of the town said they would be happy to surrender, but they were afraid she was still bent on vengeance. They responded, I did that. She responded by saying this had gone on long enough. She simply required 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows from each house, and she would be on her way in the morning. Overjoyed at these generous terms, the inhabitants of the city gladly collected and turned over the birds. Olga had her soldiers create Molotov cockatiels by tying small pieces of cloth and sulfur to the birds. That evening, this incendiary poultry was released to return to their roosts inside the city. Soon, every building was burning brightly. Those who fled were killed or captured, while some were left to pay tribute in the ruins, betrayed by their sparrows. Time and time again, St. Olga showed us that revenge absolutely is an appropriate direction for a girl's next arts and crafts project. Never let anyone tell you you cannot get into birding just because you want to make somebody else suffer. Never let anybody tell you you can't study civil engineering as a way to torment your neighbors. So I propose a toast to her, St. Olga, and to you, following all of your dreams. And don't let anybody tell you there's one right way to grieve.